Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. I wanted to talk with you before I got started on what I have to do for today on my side. I can tell you that Midland Credit Management, Midland Funding, what is it? Midland Credit Management Inc. Has bought over $1 billion worth of debt, and they are going crazy with lawsuits. They're suing people all over the country. I can tell you that we've been winning. We've been winning against Midland. And I'm going to tell you about a situation that happened yesterday with a lady in a state below mine, Illinois, where she's being sued by Midland, and she uh, filled out well, she wanted us to write her responses for the summons, and I was like, okay, well, we could do that. But when we got the documents, we noticed that it was totally incomplete, that the summons was not complete. And this was something that a lot of debt collectors were doing, really, because over, I believe, 79% of all uh, court actions with debt collectors are default judgments. So they could put, just file the paperwork and not even really put a full complaint or have missing documents, and they're going to still get a judgment, because people are either going to, number one, go into court and not know what to say. They're just going to say, I don't know what I'm going to do about this. They're not going to challenge anything that's in there. Or number two, they're just not going to show up, which most people just don't even show up. So what we ended up doing, because she actually has to go to court this morning, so I'm going to be very interested in hearing what happened with that. But let me tell you what I went over with her, because she did not have the complete uh, the court citation. She didn't have the allegations. Uh, so the way that everything was presented to her was as if she only owed Midland funding. And I was like, you never did business with Midland funding. Midland Credit Management, and Midland Credit Management doesn't make loans to people. And she said no. And I said, well, what are you going to do about this? Because I can't write the response for you unless I have that complete documentation. So she actually called the collection agency lawyer that's actually doing work for Midland Credit Management for this particular case, and they sent over information. She went to the courthouse and got some information, and it was the same information. It was missing the actual complaint. And if you don't have the complaint, you cannot respond to the allegations. And so we decided that we just needed to have a training session with her to go over what she's going to have to do. She's going to have a Zoom call today, and on that Zoom call, it's going to be regarding this. And I specifically told her what to say and what to listen for, because a lot of times people, you think you're listening, but really what you're doing is you're getting ready to respond. So I said, number one, I want you to just cool down, and and this is the advice that I would say to myself. This is what I have to say to myself: calm down, because it's not the end of the world. No matter what, you've made it through things that you didn't think you were going to make it through before. Yes, this debt is almost $10,000, but let's pull ourselves down, and let's start to think and look at the things that we control. We don't want to focus on things that we don't control, because that's just going to bring anxiety, worry, doubt, fear, all that stuff just going to blow up in your mind. So I said, let's start from the beginning. Let's look at what we have. And I feel a little reluctant to even go into this on the video here on YouTube. I hope everyone that's watching this really appreciates what I'm about to tell you, because actually, if Midland Credit Management is watching this video, we are actually going to be giving them ammunition on what not to do, so they can actually, put people in more of a situation to be able to win their lawsuits. But I'm going to say it here because we got thousands of people that need it, and we'll always be here to fight for people. But the first thing that I had her do is I said, okay, we've gotten in documentation, number one, from the service that you got at your home, documentation from the debt collector lawyer that is handling the case, and also you went down to the courthouse yourself. And I give her credit for this. She went to the courthouse herself to get paperwork, and it was still the same paperwork, which was an incomplete summons packet. And I said, okay, the first thing that you're going to listen for, and I want you to listen. I said, listen to me tell you this, and I'm going to ask you what I just told you. And I said that when they bring up your case, they're going to say Midland Credit Management, or the case number, and they're going to say Midland Credit Management represented by, and they going to say the lawyer for the debt collector for Midland Credit Management. And if they say just that, and they say versus in your name, which was the client's name, if that's all they say, then you immediately tell the judge that you've never done any business with Midland Credit Management, and you move to have this case dismissed right off the bat. Now, listen to me. For you who maybe didn't get what I just said, because it's very, very subtle. Very subtle, and a lot of debt collectors have won default judgments, solely ones that they didn't even deserve to win, solely based off of the individual not hearing what was said in court. I'm going to say it again. They're going to say the case number. They're going to say Midland Credit Management, Inc., represented by the attorney for them versus the individual. What is missing in that whole introduction? In that introduction is the original creditor's information, because she has never done business with them. And because the complaint was incomplete, I believe that this is probably one of those where they rushed through and they just didn't even fill it, put all the information in there, and they just was like, hey, don't worry about it, the person's not even going to show up anyway. So I said, if they say that, then you ask for dismissal based on that. And then she said, well, what if they come back and say, well, it is for this original creditor? And I say, well, you need to request more time, and you need them to give you a complete summons, because they did not do a complete summons. You can actually ask for dismissal at that point, but they might just give them more time to get that information over to you, and then we will prepare the response based off of that complaint that they have. And but we went over this for about an hour, for a full hour, because more than just knowing what to do, most people are very afraid and fearful because they've never been in this situation before. And I'll admit, when I went through it, it's like you worry about losing. You worry about what you can't control. And what I practice on, and I think that this is something that you should practice on with everything that you do in your life, is to start learning what you do control, and you start focusing on that. Because the outcome is going to be the outcome. So you might as well not even put any energy into it. Because you can end up having an outcome that in your favor that you really didn't even expect. And so I want you to prepare by taking care of what you do have control over, and you don't worry about the things you don't have control over. So I'll give you an update on what happens with this. I can tell you that we had a report yesterday of another victory against Midland Credit Management. I'm getting the amount, but I know that the amount is up there because Midland doesn't go after anybody unless it's 2,000 or up. They won't even bother. That maybe, might have someone they might. So I'll let you know on that. The other one that I'm going to be working on today is with Galaxy International Purchasing LLC. This is a company that is purchasing a lot of automobile debt. They might be doing credit card too, but they're purchasing a lot of automobile debt. Now, what caught my attention with this one? What caught my attention with this one is they always have these exhibits. Exhibits is what they put to show that they purchased the debt the right way. How do I owe you when I never did business with you? Well, we have this affidavit, and on this affidavit, we have this bill of sale. So they bought this portfolio from Lending Club Corporation, a Delaware corporation lending club. They bought this from them. Now, let me tell you what the problem that I saw with this. Well, number one, they blacked out. I don't want to show too much here. I don't think it matters because they blacked out right here the total unpaid balance. So they bought a lot number. They didn't buy, the person's name is not on here. So you already know what I'm going to be preparing on this. Name does not show this individual specific name or account number. It also doesn't state that Lending Club does not state on here that 100% of all of the accounts in this lot that they sold to Galaxy is 100% correct. So it only states that it was a lot number, total unpaid balance, and the number of accounts. Now let me tell you where I saw a huge issue. I see this huge issue where it comes to privacy of the individual, of sharing their private information, and multiple issues with how many times this account was sold. I'm going to pull up pieces of paper. It does not show the client's name, but I'm going to show you so you know that I'm speaking the truth here. All of these that I show you shows the transfer of this one individual account. One, Lending Club Corporation, seller, ACL Consumer, seller, ACL Consumer Trust, number 6, ACL Loan Trust, number 4, Banco Popular Puerto Rico, Banco Popular North America, Bank Newport. Another sheet, Bullion Investment Limited Partnership, Carter Bank and Trust, Congressional Bank, Consumer Lending Receivables Grant Trust, Consumer Loan Underlying Bond Certificate. I already hear it with the 1099C or the 1099A people already when you hear that. Consumer Loan Underlying Bond Certificate User Trust Series 2019. Another group. Consumer Loan Underlying Bond Club Trust 2020. Consumer Loan Underlying Bond Grant 2017. Consumer Loan Underlying Bond Grant 2017 P-P1. Another one, Consumer Loan Underlying Bond Grantor Trust P2. Consumer Underlying Bond Grantor Trust NPI1. And the same Consumer Loan Underlying Bond 2018 P1. Another one. I'm going to just say P2. This is the Consumer Loan Underlying Trust. P2, P3, HP1, P1, and this is a different year. 2019 P2, 2018 1 grantor trust. All of those are the same. Sold individually. Why are they doing this like this? Another group. Copper Canyon Trust, Crest Sky Lending Facility LLC, DL Investments, acting on behalf of Compartment Moonstone 2, DL Investments, Compartment Moonstone 1, Elkhorn Valley Bank Trust STD, First Bank, Franklin Templeton, Franklin Strategy Investments, Gold Cap Trust, Hallman Limited, HGC Consumer Trust. I can go on and on. Here's another sheet. 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 Certificate of loan sale. Certificate of loan sale. So we got that. Hold on, let me just click this. So looking at this, this is I've never seen anything that was sold so many times, and I consider this like a trade. This is man, 1099A people who said our social security number is an account. They're about to go wild when they watch this video. I don't know. I'll speak on this in another video on why I believe this was sold over and over. It's gonna be I don't want to get into it on here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna write this response. We're gonna request information number 1. Does not show specific name and account number on the bill of sale. Never did business with Galaxy. Responding to the complete allegation. Asking for privacy documentation for each of these transfer of lenders. And let's see if anything else is in here. Have an exhibit B here. Oh, that was just on the payment. So we have a lot to go on with this one. I want to check one other thing here. They put an affidavit of account. The affidavit of account is not made by the original creditor. It was actually made by Galaxy International Purchasing. So it says here that being duly sworn deposes and says that to the best of my knowledge, and the person's name are justified, justly indebted to Galaxy for the amount 14 grand, and further set that there is no set off credit by payment or return by law or equity against this sum, and further states that all credits allowances known to exist hereto there before being granted the amount due and payable as taken from books and records of original entry. So this is what they put in their affidavit, but the affidavit again was not from the original creditor. That's the way that they try to fool the courts with that. That was exhibit C. So we got a lot to work with here. I'm going to get busy on this. Make sure that you like this video. You know, I was thinking about it. It doesn't matter if you like the video or whatever. You're going to do what you're going to do. And number one, the people who my information is supposed to be for, it's going to get to them anyways. So you can like it for the algorithm. You can like it if you believe I deserve it. That's what I'd rather. I'm gonna wait. If you believe I deserve the likes, then you give me the likes, and whatever YouTube decides to do with that, they can do with that. But I'm gonna get to work helping this individual. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different. If you need, you're going to see our 8-point validation system for repairing credit, which is validate with furnishers, validate with the bureaus. After a 3-month process, determine which route you need to move forward on. Is if it's going to be to deal with the uh, the creditors, we'll submit information to them so you can get that done. Or if it's going to be to continue because your financial situation doesn't allow it, we will continue the other route. If you need your credit reports and scores, please visit the website your3scores.com. That helps me monetize the channel, and I really appreciate it. If you have debt collectors coming after you, grab my 3-pack of letters: a cease and desist collection activities letter, statute of limitations letter, and debt validation letter. Only use the one that's appropriate for your situation. If you have third-party debt collectors trying to sue you, like Midland, Sherman Acquisition, Resurgent, LVNV, any of those companies, the link is below here. You can watch the video on what we do. You can either do it yourself with my do-it-yourself program, or you can have us do it for you. Thank you for your time. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.